everybody, it's Jamie. So I was gonna talk about what I crocheted recently and tell y'all a little bit about it. And give you my opinion on it. The first thing I made was the Bag a Day crochet tutorial, which I will link both these down below, for how to make fingerless gloves. And I do not remember what this yarn is called, but it is one of the Michael's like store brand yarn. Anyways, so the thing about this is, I'm gonna give you like an idea of how this is a, what do you call it? An idea of how big my hand is. I do not have a large hand, but I do not have a super skinny hand either. So, like that. So she called for a 4.5 millimeter hook. I used a 5. The 4.5 millimeter was too small, but I also may have tighter tension than she does because I have been out of practice a tiny bit, and I tend to be tighter when I don't crochet as much. So another thing is that because I have a shorter hand, it is better for me to probably keep off around, because I worked. Well, I used them when I was at work, but I also used them. I used them, driving and stuff like that. And this kept folding over because of that, because of my hand bending, and that kind of irritates me. So one thing I could do is just like keep this off the next time, or I could just probably figure out how to, where I would not do this part right here, and so that I could still have the look right here. But otherwise, it's super easy, especially if you're not used to crocheting a lot, or if you just want something easy to do. She even had the ribbing where, again, she always explains things really, really well. So if you are new, but you want something pretty easy to do, obviously, because if you have not discovered her, which if you discovered me, I don't know how you don't know her, I always recommend her. This is my watch. So another thing, I have this particular one I actually made last year, but I made another one. This is a tutorial, was from the Crochet Guru. I had to look at it, and it is an elf hat. The one I made this year, I ended up giving to the person I made it for already, and they absolutely loved it. And they have been wearing it at work ever since I made it for them. So I'm pretty happy that they like it. I also need to try to make 2 more, because I believe she said that her son and husband loved it as well. And but this one I made out of our high school colors, and the one I made for her was red and white stripes with red trim, and I'm sorry, with green trim and a green palm. So the bells are just bells I got at Walmart and put in. But it's really simple. Again, I really like this pattern. It is more extensive, obviously, I guess you could say, than your basic hat. I would recommend it for someone who might be not brand new, but has made at least a couple of hats. And someone with okay attention span. Because it can kind of, how many times do I have to do this? How many times do I have to do this? How many rows do I have to do? This is driving me crazy. So, like I should have said, this took me about an hour, 2 hours, depending on how I felt. And this one took me, I don't know, 3-4 hours. And not in one sitting. It was over like 3 days. It is a longer hat, and I stuck the bell in so that you could. Now, if you're interested in this one, I need to find out where I got the pattern from. Again, it was a YouTube tutorial. I made this last year, and the yarn for this, Walmart yarn, this is Red Heart Super Saver. And this one, I believe, is also Red Heart Super Saver, but Mainstay has something similar as well if this is not Mainstay. Give me 1 second and I'm gonna find it. Okay, so the Santa hat tutorial, which again I made this last year, I haven't made one this year, is from It's Not Knit. And she calls it the Easy Crochet Santa Hat with a lamb's wool brim, and it is beginner friendly. I do recommend that you've made at least one hat though, obviously. It'd just be a little bit easier on you, I think, mind-wise, but that's me. It takes me a minute to do a lot of things. On the pom-poms that I make, I have pom-pom makers. And if you have never crocheted or had a crocheted item, for me, I recommend, especially with pom-poms, to hand wash them, because these suckers, especially if you hand do them instead of putting them in a pom-pom maker, will just not disintegrate, but like just shred in the washer. Anyways, that is all I have today. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I will try to make another one eventually. I hope y'all had a great Christmas. Tell me how it was. Share with me. And I will see y'all again soon. Merry Christmas.